Hey, this is Pastor Dave, and this is your Monday Mojo. Hope you had a great weekend. So on Saturday, Laura and I took a trek to Bloomington with an expert tour guide, Bill Murphy. He's my cousin. And Bill, he knows everything about IU basketball and IU football, and he loves the city and the town of Bloomington, and it's where a lot of our family are from. And so he took me there, and he took us around and showed us the house where I came home to as a baby, and the house that my mom and dad first lived in, his grandmother's house, our grandmother's house, his dad's house. He took me to my grandparents' grave, which was much more emotional than I thought it was going to be. But in the process, we got to talking about restaurants that used to be in Bloomington, and one of those was a place called Swing In Pizza. Now, one weekend when I was a student at IU, Bill and his wife Wanda came down to see me, and they introduced me to Swing In Pizza. Now, Swing In Pizza is it was just this little bitty building. It was just this independent little pizza place. It wasn't Domino's, it wasn't Papa John's. It was just this independent little pizza place, but it was so good, and it became my go-to pizza place in Bloomington. It just had a different kind of taste, a different kind of food, a different kind of product. It was so good. It's not there anymore. The owner sold it to his son, took on a new name, monkeyed around with the recipe, and they're having a hard time getting people to come now. Whereas before, people knew it. It was this local, known, amazing place to get pizza. It got me thinking. You know, over the last 50 years, the church has steadily lost people coming. And there's a whole lot of reasons for that. But I wonder if one of the reasons for that is not that we have in some ways monkeyed around with the recipe. What we are looking for when we go to church truly is a depth and a purpose and a presence of God. That's what we're looking for. And so when we go there, that's what we want to find. And it seems like, I know when I started in the seminary, they were talking about how do we make sure that we meet the needs of everybody all around us. And that's great, I guess, if you're Walmart. But if you're the church, if you're just meeting all the surface needs of folks and you're not helping them to go deeper to meet that depth of purpose and meaning in life that comes from knowing and walking with God, then maybe people are going to say, well, that's not what I'm looking for. I want to go find what I'm looking for. Find that recipe that I remember. And Swingin' was this independent little building church, pizza place, but it made this great pizza. And the local church, I really truly believe, is the place where people can find that. I think that's why Jesus got so mad when he went into the temple. And the temple was this place where on the inner courts is where all the Jews could go. And on the outer courts in the temple, the place of worship, was the place where people who weren't Jewish, but who were looking for that depth and purpose and meaning of a relationship with God could come. And so they could come there and worship in the outer courts. And when Jesus got there, the Jews had set up tables to sell them their sacrifices so that they could go to worship. And they made it convenient for themselves so that they could have a convenient worship experience, but they absolutely ruined it for those who were coming to look for that depth and purpose and meaning of God that weren't Jews. I want to make sure that on every Sunday morning, I want to do whatever I can to make sure that anyone who comes feels welcome and can fit right in and can find that depth and purpose and meaning of God without encountering a whole lot of things that make it convenient for me who have been worshiping all of my life to do so. The church can be this great place where people can make that connection. I believe we can be that place again. I believe that many of you watching this go to different churches, and I encourage you to think like this. How can we be the great place that people know and keep coming back to, looking for depth and purpose and meaning and a connection with God? Anyway, that's your Monday Mojo with Swing In Pizza. Thanks, Bill, for the tour, and thanks, church, for being the kind of place where people meet God.